for some reason. My mute mic was mic. Okay, so my mic was unmuted. But in any case, guys, Power Rangers versus Aftershock, last series of the day. We're HeflaTV. I am Coucher. I'm joined by GrandisV. So, what do you think is going to happen in this series?
I expect Aftershock to take it 2-0. They just seem to be looking so strong throughout all of this. But I mean, if we take us back to the first game that Power Rangers played today, they were also looking very good. And if Aftershock don't ban out the IO and instead leave that in for Power Rangers, maybe they'll be able to take game number 1. And with banning out the Tidehunter, I think this is pretty straightforward first pick Wisp.
It definitely might be, and yep, spot on with that. Power Rangers getting their hands on that. I'm a little bit shocked that Aftershock chose to ban out the Tidehunter instead of the IO. I do believe yesterday they started both games with just Battle Royale IO ban to both of the heroes that Power Rangers just love, and that's usually just maybe not the easiest way to victory, but at least just paving the way for it slowly, just banning out the heroes that the enemy team is comfortable with. Aftershock, of course, they can go for the Death Prophet now, for example, if they want to go for it. But Death Prophet has been ignored by them in the previous series as well, so we'll see if they even want to go for that at all.
Yeah, it might not be on the table for them. I think giving away the Wisp is just a little too risky. They're going to go for an Ancient Apparition, which is kind of nice for shutting down the tether and the heal. That comes with the IO, as well as giving them some global potential of their own. But still, I think Power Rangers are going to be okay with whatever Aftershock pick up here. Yeah, Death Prophet is available if they want to go for it, but as you already have stated, it maybe isn't completely on their mind. Brewmaster is also there, one of those top 2 heroes Aftershock might also consider going for. There's plenty of options, even after starting out with an Ancient Apparition. You aren't really locked into any particular style of play.
Oh god, well, it is the Death Prophet after all. Took them some just figuring out, but it is most of the time too strong of a hero to pass up on, to be honest. But Power Rangers, what do they partner the IO up with? I think last time around it was Gyrocopter plus a Witch Doctor, I believe. So both of those heroes still available. I mean, Gyrocopter you can leave for the later stages as well, because you can partner up so many other heroes with that, but the Voodoo Restoration IO combo is just ridiculously strong. I'm not too sure if Aftershock saw the game themselves, because they were playing at the time against Denial, I believe. But if they did, I really expect a Necrophos ban in the second phase, unless Power Rangers just go for it straight away, but it's a Brewmaster instead.
Yeah, and it's a solid opener. Brewmaster is a nice hero to initiate those fights, and in fact, Power Rangers are going to ban out the Necrophos. He's a really scary hero, and just the way that he changes the game is hard to work around, because your carry eventually might drop below half HP. That's not a stretch. And then once they do, they can be completely removed from the game unless you have amazing defensive heroes behind them.
So, funny enough, I didn't really answer why Power Rangers panned out the Necrophos themselves. Maybe they expected Aftershock to go for it, but... Or maybe they just don't want to use the same strategy twice, although it worked. I don't know. Or did it work for them? I can't... I think, like, yeah, Aftershock, they had a epic Necrophos game, right? But it wasn't with an IO. I think Power Rangers IO Necrophos game, though, won as well. I think. Did it?
Even though it's a really nice combination, Power Rangers don't have first pick coming out of this banning stage. So I think banning Necrophos is okay, but I think it would have been better if they switched those ban orders to see if they could get Aftershock to take it out instead.
Oh, that's true, to be honest. But Aftershock banning out the Phantom Assassin instead... I'm not too sure about Power Rangers. I think they played a Phantom Assassin just now against Denial, or maybe it was Denial banning or playing it instead. But Phantom Assassin definitely is a hero that, even if you make it so that it doesn't get the crazy amount of farm, his just built-in crit is just so strong that you don't really need too many damaging items. Just get the BKB and you might be fine, depending on how tanky the enemy is. And you're gonna get the farm like eventually anyway. But Aftershock now, having Ancient Apparition and Death Prophet, they need at least one extra support, and wow, going for a Venomancer. The Plague Ward's definitely good for pushing. Just create that scouting as well with the Plague Wards and kind of disabling Blink Daggers if need be. But it's a hero that I have not seen Aftershock play before.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very on the fence about this Venomancer pick, especially if it is played as a support. Although Ancient Apparition and Venomancer, in theory, if they get Agnum Scepters and get those levels, their magical damage is pretty much unparalleled between them. Their control is incredibly limited. They have a Death Prophet Silence and a Cold Feet that's probably not going to proc, and that's not going to stop Brewmaster from splitting in. It's not going to it's not going to be stopping a Wisp from relocating in with +1, and that +1 could be pretty much anything that Power Rangers want it to be, except for the Phantom Assassin, which is the only Wisp partner that Aftershock took out of the pool. For now, it's going to be Nature's Prophet, and although it might harm Power Rangers' ability to find initiations, straightforward, like it's not going to be as strong as a Tidehunter or like a Centaur in that respect. It's still going to make sure that they have everybody at the team fight always, unless the Brewmaster is the one missing.
Now we are just missing a lifestealer to make it even more global for them. They might be going for something like a Zeus next, to be honest. Although support Zeus with IO, maybe not the strongest of lanes. But Thundergod's Wrath into Wrath of Nature into just IO relocate. It is so hard to just survive up against that. But Aftershock do go for a Slark now. Power Rangers, they are lacking in the lockdown. Literally just, I guess, there's Primal Split. You can use the Boulder Toss and maybe the Cyclone onto the Slark. But other than that, all they have is just maybe a Sprout, which you can just pounce out of if need be. And then Tether Slow. But of course, the same applies for Aftershock themselves. All they have is Pounce, and, well, the Silence is also going to be pretty nice from Death Prophet to be honest to deal with the Weaver. But not a bad choice for Power Rangers, just trying to punish the lack of lockdown.
Yeah, even though it's not the most conventional of IO partners, I think this game it can work. Mostly because the only thing he has to worry about is that Death Prophet Silence, and even so, like, Death Prophet Silence isn't going to phase Weaver that much. It's a long-duration silence to be sure and annoying, but this game, Weaver could get away with getting a damage item first if he wants to, and once he has a BKB, he actually doesn't have to fear anything that Aftershock are bringing to him. And although this isn't going to be your traditional IO combination where you get into the mid-game and you burst somebody down immediately, like with a tiny Sven or even a Phantom Assassin, it is going to let the Weaver split push to his heart's content and get a large amount of farm, and if left unchecked, Aftershock are going to be dealing with a Weaver that's completely unmanageable by their heroes.
Yeah, and Weaver together with Nature's Prophet can just put a lot of pressure on multiple lanes at the same time. Just Weaver with the Geminate attack, maybe even going for Desolator at some point as well, is gonna be a nuisance to the buildings, and you're gonna have to make sure that you're actually defending them. But last bands, Doombringer and Ogre. Doombringer, Power Rangers, I guess you don't want to get doomed if you're like any heroes. Weaver, excellently shut down by that as well, and the Brewmaster. But do you think they have like +1 hero incoming, although they do need a support, so I guess the Doombringer is just mostly to make sure that Weaver can actually run around in the fights.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the only hero that could actually take Weaver out. Guaranteed. Even if they get something very disable heavy like a Lion and run it mid, or something along those lines, it's unlikely it's going to actually hold the Weaver in place. I think Centaur's the best hero for Aftershock available in the pool, and I must be psychic or something. It is going to be a Centaur for them. Giving them that Blink Hoof Stomp initiation to catch out a split pushing Nature's Prophet and Weaver is pretty much mandatory.
You need like any kind of hero that can get that Blink Jump. Sometimes Storm Spirit has been used as well, but of course they were in search for an offlaner anyway. Unless they want to run an aggressive tri-lane, depending on what the second support of Power Rangers will be. They could go still for a jungler and get an Enigma. More pushing for themselves as well. More lockdown. Black Hole isn't... I mean, there's only one thing that can stop the Black Hole. Or make it two with the Silence as well. But Black Hole is decent against Slark because even if he goes into the Shadow Dance, you still see him. And worst case, you can just pop the Black Hole even while the Shadow Dance is activated and just pull him in.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that coming out from Power Rangers. It would be incredibly greedy in the laning phase, but then again, what's an Ancient Apparition and Venomancer really going to do? When they roam around to lanes, they can put out a lot of damage to be sure, but without the lockdown, it's fairly likely that Weaver's just going to be able to scoot you out to safety. Nature's Prophet can just make a straight TP unless Centaur is inbound, and Brewmaster at level 6 will have the split. Before then, he's the easiest kill, but even then, a fairly tanky hero. Power Rangers, they could probably get away with it, but other supports might also still be on the table if they want to go for them. There's a decent pool available.
Could they go for something like a Visage and actually try to go for an aggressive tri-lane with Weaver, IO plus Visage, for example? I mean, Venomancer and Ancient Apparition cannot punish a Weaver at all. And Slark probably would be farming it up against just free ranged heroes. I mean, depends on how ballsy Power Rangers want to go, because if you're going aggressive tri-lane and it doesn't work out, your whole game will just probably be on the back foot already. But
yeah, if they go aggressive, I'd much rather have them pick up something like Avenge instead of the Visage. just something to offer a lockdown and get more guaranteed kills, because IO, Weaver, and Visage, although they can get a decent amount of damage between them, they have zero lockdown. And Bane, not necessarily the direction I thought they'd go in, but this is going to give them a lot of single target lockdown, in particular for the Slark, if he doesn't get the the packed off, excuse me.
Well, the Bane is going to be more or less the only lockdown for Power Rangers as well. I don't really see them rotating all that much, although Nightmare into Thunderclap with the Tether Slow to follow up of the IO, it might be enough to get the kill on Death Prophet, for example, or the Center War Runner for that matter on the safe lane. But we shall see how they're going to lane this for Power Rangers. I do expect it's going to be just a standard safe lane tri-lane with Nature Prophet offlane and Brewmaster mid, most likely. As for Aftershock, should be rather standard for them as well, unless they want to take this aggressive. We will see. Aftershock, they definitely have gone aggressive before as well, so it wouldn't be a bad aggressive tri-lane with what they have.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be. On the Radiant side, it's going to be Aftershock playing on that side of the map. With their offlaner being Kefka on the center Warner, it looks like he is going to be solo and they're not going aggressive. Mind Control on the mid, Death Prophet. He's been playing that pretty consistently through the day. On bottom lane, Aftershock are going to take Jalopy on the Slark, Zeroji on the Venomancer, and Ancient Apparition played by Patka.
As for Power Rangers on the dire side, Dichara playing the Weaver, leaving Sun Neko on the IO, with J4 on the Bane, Chargelaw on the Brewmaster, and the last one will be Cheshire Cat on the Nature's Prophet. So far, J4 just probably gonna run, place some runes, or wards rather. Oh god, if you could place runes, that would be sick. It's like, I'm gonna leave myself a haste rune right here if I need it later on.
But then the enemy team pick it up and you'd be completely up the river. He is just gonna place that Observer ward and then wait and see what this rune is going to be at the 0-minute mark. Bane, I don't expect him to accomplish very much in the bottom lane if he sticks around, so he's probably just gonna make his way towards other lanes. But if they do catch like a Nightmare and clap on a Death Prophet if she's overextending, maybe there's some killing potential. But for the most part, I don't expect Bane to be the most impactful of heroes. Usually there's something like an Arrow to follow up after the Bane Nightmare, like a Kunkka Torrent, some sort of long duration disable. There's nothing like that in this game, and for the early portion, Bane's setup is going to be more or less wasted. He is trying to scare himself the rune. It is going to be a bounty, but eating a lot of Chilling Touch damage. In the Roshan pit he goes, and they're not going to chase him, but I'm not sure why. J4 is probably going to be our first blood. The best you can hope for is a Roshan deny. This is the most awkward first blood you've ever seen. Nightmare toggled the Ancient Apparition and gets killed by Roshan. Well played by the Bane.
I would have liked to see Zeroji actually go and take Roshan aggro for himself, and then go for the kill. Just to make sure that Bane does not get hit by the Roshan. I think that would have been the safest way, but Bane really well played. Taking in the last right click, ticking low enough for, first of all, maybe even tick down to the Nightmare. And that's why they toggled it off as well. So extremely well played by the Bane. Not giving away the first blood, and oh, the pounce onto Cheshire Cat. I don't think they have enough, but the Venom Scale comes out as well. They're gonna dive this even. They need a little bit more. If only they had the Chilling Touch right about now. And Cheshire Cat, never mind, just gonna run away. Chilling Touch just now came off cooldown.
Yeah, unfortunate for them, and that first blood attempt that failed is going to cost them not one, but 2 kills, as they're going to survive. In the meantime, okay, yeah. That 1 kill on the scoreboard's a little bit...
Yeah, it's distracting.
Yeah, it's distracting. I expected something else to be going on the other side of the map. Center is being zoned up by Bane, as well as IO, not a single point of experience picked up by him. And Cheshire Cat's found his level 2, as well as 2 CS to his name, and he hasn't been forced back into the jungle so far, and unless that happens again where he gets caught up by the pounce, it's unlikely that he's gonna die.
You mean,
even though, yeah.
He also managed to cancel the healing salve of Jalopy, because Jalopy, he got a little bit greedy. He backed off, popped the healing salve, but went in for the right clicks, the last hits immediately, so he got, like, I think 3 seconds maximum out of the healing salve. So he's going to be out of tangos as well, which means that if the supports want to leave him alone, Nature Prophet is going to be able to put quite some harass onto the Slark with just the right clicks and the 3-ends as well. So the supports are a little bit locked in place. J4 finds Kefka, just goes for a little bit of right click battle. Centaur has the hoof stomp, no return, so J4 can easily do that. And Centaur definitely not having as good of a time as Cheshire Cat. I mean, he has 0 points of XP.
Yeah, he's been zoned excellently by the Bane as well as the IO, and now he is only sitting onto 1 tango. He doesn't have any gold towards getting those tranquil boots. I expect that to maintain the case for the Centaur. This top lane is completely on lockdown, and Centaur, unlike a lot of Offlaners can't go into the jungle very effectively until he gets Tranquil Boots and a couple more levels up in the double edge. He's gonna distract this pull coming out from Siniko, so there isn't going to be pull through or any stacks available. But still, it's gonna be completely fine, and now they go a little bit more aggressively into Kefka. They don't have to kill him. They just keep him at arm's length, and he still has 0 experience. 2.5 minutes into this game.
That's just going to be horrible. I mean, Centaur is a strong hero, and once you get level 6, you're going to have the Stampede. You can help out. You don't need that extremely fast Blink Dagger necessarily. But this is just below everything. I mean, 3 minutes in, you have absolutely nothing. Like, literally nothing. No last hits, no points of XP. You're even worse than a creep at this point almost. At least you're a little bit more tanky, but... Bottom lane, Chestercat, the counterparty offlaner, gonna hit level 4. He even got pounced up at one point, but he just TP'd out because there's nothing to cancel it.
Yeah, there really isn't. Centaur walking all the way back to base. If this were a pub, you'd have to be worried about denying from not getting, or from disconnecting or abandoning because you don't get any experience. And it might be 5 minutes in and he won't see level 2. His lane's pushing a little bit closer towards his tower, but he's not close to this wave. I don't know. I don't know. I think he's gonna get his first point of experience at about 4 minutes in, but that's so detrimental as an offlane center. He's gonna
he got 41 points. Yes, it's epic success, man. That's 41 points more than he had 3.5 minutes ago. Oh god.
Bottom.
No.
Chestercat's fine. TP away. He can't do anything about it, and Nature's Prophet level 4 is actually doing very well in his lane. Compared to the mid laner's experience, it's only like a level behind them, and that's wonderful for the Nature's Prophet in this scenario. Even though he's not farming exceptionally well, doesn't matter. Compare him to the Centaur, and he looks like he's completely dominating.
But looking at the actual mid lane as well, Brewmaster 18-3 compared to 24-7. It's kind of to be expected. Def Prophet having the upper hand in that with just the last hits and everything. But not a huge difference now. Kefka is going to get nightmared up. Tether slow isn't quite there. He's going for the TP out as well. Oh, but the Brain Sap will prove to be just enough burst damage with the Chara, the right clicks, bringing him down. So this TP, for a second I thought that there's just going to be another TP out from a first blood. But no, Power Rangers pick it up and on the Weaver as well. That's going to be his Hand of Midas in 400 gold.
That's so scary for Aftershock. Not only does Centaur die, he only gets one more creep of experience, has to spend 100 gold for a TP, and walks back out to the lane. Centaur, at this point, I don't think he can really show his face into this lane without being completely zoned out, and honestly, doing anything else other than going to top would be better for him. Nature's Prophet is going to TP out. I'm not sure how he actually managed to get himself stuck inside those trees, but that happened. Inside mid, we're going to see Brewmaster going strong, and a Death Prophet. He has a split, so Mind Control needs to be careful, but for now, is just going to be able to back off and get that regeneration rune. But yeah, Kefka, this is one of the worst starts I've ever seen an offlaner get.
At least for a Centaur, for sure. I mean, I've seen like offlaners that really aren't proper offlaners, so to say. They're not tanky, they have no means of escape or anything like that. Maybe they have done a little bit worse, but although even then, my mind just struggles in trying to find whoever is missing, or just find a game that has been worse. Like this, 72 points. Usually, if it's that bad, you try to go get anything in the jungle, maybe go even into the mid lane, just try to do something with the Hoofstomp, turn into a support center who roams, but nope, they're gonna get the Sprout onto Kefka. He's waiting with the Hoofstomp, gets it only onto one, and he's gonna go down. No TP on him even. And just another kill, plus Chestercat has a level 3 Nature's Call, transitioning into the tower, perfectly timed, double creep wave, the treants are there.
He desperately needed that experience under tower, and my goodness, Kefka's not even level 2. It's 6 minutes in. I've seen supports that roam and fail ganks get this amount of experience, but hardly ever an offlaner. Now is going to lose his tower, and he can't come back to this lane. Nature's Prophet, level 5. That's going to be a tower destruction their way, and a Midas now for Ditchira that he's going to send out to himself. Everything is looking decently in the other lanes. Slark's getting good farm down in bottom, but the first blood gold is going to propel Weaver. On top of that, mid lane's pretty evenly traded. So it's really just that offlaners that make the difference right now, and with the current state of the game, neither team really wants to go aggressively until they have levels or some larger farming items. Slark Blink Dagger might be one of the first triggers for aggression that we see this game, but outside of that, level 6 on Io is going to be a similar trigger for Power Rangers. Yeah.
For Aftershock, Seroichi, he's even gone for 2 points into Venomous Gale, so no Plague Ward yet, which means no extensive pushing coming out, at least not for the time being. Venomous Gale at level 2, at least it does damage, so that's gonna be nice to maybe like disable a Nightmare or anything like that. They want to go for J4, but them not even being able to just get a proper jump on a support who is level 3 as a trident, I mean, they're not doing all that well, to be honest. I mean, they're struggling a little bit with levels as well. Maybe. IOA is level 5 almost, so the dire side is doing slightly better across all lanes. But Venomous Gale, it even misses J4. The pound does connect though. Can he escape? Gets the brain zap off. It's not gonna be enough though. Chilling Touch is plenty. Cheshire comes in, gets the Sprout onto Patka rather. Chelopi, he goes down to the Wisp Spirits. And Seroji, he might be able to escape. Chashlo doesn't have a blink. He almost has enough gold for it, but not on his person at the moment. So Seroji, think is safe, or I don't know, might even get chased down.
Yeah, they're going to give him the rundown. The body block coming out from that Death Prophet illusion. It is going to be cleaned up by a clap, and in the end, Power Rangers are going to have to give up that pursuit. But it's a 1-for-1 core for a support trade, and in the meantime, Weaver's been able to farm up top, and it's looking to solo kill Kefka. He has one more Sakuchi, and that's all he's going to need. Kefka's gone. He's salving up. Maybe that's going to be enough to save him. One more Gemini attack's going to end his life. His Death Prophet gets split upon in mid, and she's also going to fall win after win for Power Rangers.
Yeah, mid lane, they just set things up with a Nightmare. Thunderclap to follow, most likely, just IO being there. They had to use the Primal Split, but it's completely worth it killing the enemy mid laner like that, especially if it's a Death Prophet as well. Keeping a Death Prophet at bay should be like one of the top priorities for your team as a general. And Dichara, well, he's going for the Lincolns. Ring of Health there, can finish up the Perseverance soon enough as well. Of course, doesn't have boots yet, although not like you need it all that badly. This game just 2-5 Power Rangers at a heavy advantage, and Power Rangers, they seem to thrive when the games are going like this. They like this early aggression and just like to take the early advantage and really never let go, whereas if they start on the back foot, they as a team in general just maybe aren't the best in coming back, but at the moment looking good for them. Hopefully they're not gonna throw. Yeah,
I don't like Dichira's choice to go for Lincolns. It hardly blocks anything from the Aftershock side. Cold Feet from the Ancient Apparition, Double Edge from the Centaur, that's it. Yule Scepter eventually from the Death Prophet will be avoided by this, but I kind of hope that this is just a casual Ring of Health. They're going to relocate into the jungle. They found Patka, and he's trying to run away but can't do so. The Gemini attack will be enough. The Pounce is going to lash onto Dichira, but Dichira is going to be brought back to top lane if nothing else, and still doing a heap of damage to Zeroji. He will be brought away, and that's going to save Zeroji's life, as they should be able to clean up these little bugs.
Wrath of Nature!
He's gone!
Oh, yes! Oh man, I was looking at it, it was off cooldown, and there was almost no escape as long as the treants were there for the vision. Shashlo hunting for something as well. I don't think he can get Chelopi when he has the Shadow Dance, but doesn't mean he cannot try. He's at least gonna make the Slark back off. Pounce was used as well, so he's safe. But 7 and 2, they're just getting a crazy amount of farm, although coming back to the point of Dichara going for Lincolns and it not being the best item, kind of tend to agree with you there. It's nice to have some form of stats and some regeneration. Can it just be a casual Ring of Health, or?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping it is. It looks like Dichira is going to be saving out quite a lump sum of gold, so he might just be going into Lincoln's and picks up an Ultimate Orb after this. But I'd like to see him like go Power Tread's Maelstrom, but he could go for whatever he wants, to be honest. It doesn't really matter. The rest of his team, even though it's nice to have the Weaver helping out in the fights, are pretty much winning them with just the Brewmaster in his split. But currently Shadow being pursued. Yeah, the drum charge being popped, it's not going to be enough, as Brewmaster is going to be clapped upon, and now the jump forward by Suniko. He has a couple of Wisp Orbs and might be able to solo kill the Slark. Is this going to happen? The orbs are going to miss, and he survives by the skin of his teeth.
If that one orb had landed, I think it would have been an immediate kill there. Level 3 orbs. Oh god, it was so close. A little bit unfortunate that the balls missed like that, but Slark makes it out, and Brewmaster, he deserved to die just because he went in, blinked Thunderclap, started to right click, but Slark was like, hey, I can actually turn around, started to right click back. And Patka, I guess Ice Blast gets a kill onto Bane. So,
yep, seems that's the case.
Aftershock, striking back a little bit. I mean, Slark didn't go for the Hand of Midas, but has a reasonable amount of net worth. I mean, number 2 after all. And Weaver, although he has a lot of farm and the Hand of Midas, it's not that scary yet. Chelopi gonna make it out, I think. No Shadow Dance, but fast enough nonetheless with the Pounce.
Yeah, Dichira is going to be healed up by the Wisp because of his relocate, so it's not wasted. He's going to leave Dichira here, and with 2,300 gold, Weaver, it looks like he isn't going for that Lincoln Sphere. In the meantime, Centaur Warner dies to Nature's Prophet down in bottom as the TPN is going to be enough to kill off this Centaur. Currently level 5, he's caught up decently in this game after such an abysmal start, but it's still not enough.
He is the lowest net worth in the game at the moment. That's how bad it is, and although for Aftershock, Death Prophet as well as the Slark are getting a reasonable amount of farm. I mean, not bad at all, to be honest. It's just a Centaur. You need him to be the initiating power for you. Slark can go for a blink or something and initiate, but you really need a blink hoof stomp. Otherwise, the Centaur just isn't the same hero. And of course, even if he doesn't have a blink dagger, at least 12 minutes in, you would expect him to have a stampede. But even that's not true. And Soneko, goddamn, spotting out an invis with IO is just almost impossible.
Yeah, it really is. Slark up top's going to be pursued by Ditchira, and he'll probably be able to get this kill. He's spotted out by the bug. He's going to pop his ultimate to get that bug off of him, and then Slark will live. I actually didn't see they had that off of cooldown, but Weaver is still going to continue farming away. It is going to be a Lincoln Sphere after all. It's going to be a nice item for him either way, and eventually, if a Yule Scepter or Scythe comes out from any of these heroes on Aftershock, which is a long ways away, mind you, there's not a way that they can actually initiate on this Weaver. Yules into Silence is probably their best way to set up onto him, so taking that off of the table is going to mean that Weaver is more or less completely immune.
God, it's going to be so hard for Aftershock to deal with this Weaver. I mean, he already is number one, but he's the only one to have Hand of Midas, right? Yes. The only hero on the map with this. Maybe Nature Prophet is going to go for a late one, although with the triple null talisman, what does follow? It's a Blade Mail most likely. But that is Yule Scepter finished on the Death Prophet, I think. Yes, it is. So yeah, at least has the extra mobility to work with. Almost level 2 Exorcism as well. The mid-tier one though did get denied, so that was a little bit unfortunate for Aftershock, just gimping their gold even more. And Centaur still not level 6, just if they had the Stampede they could actually maybe initiate, but without that, there's just no means for them.
Yeah. I actually don't like Cheshire Cat's choice to go for Phase Boots with the Null Talisman build. I think Power Shreds kind of just outclass them, giving you the extra tank. HE Apparition Blast in mid. They might be able to find a jump. It's going to land into both the IO and the Weaver. Also, Cryptstorm landing on a Ditchira. He'll be able to time-lapse out and Shikuchi away to safety. So that ultimate pretty much completely doing nothing.
And now Brewmaster wants to come in from the high ground, I think. Maybe from behind. Blink, Thunderclap, Primal Split could be so devastating. They do have quite a lot of Plague Wards. Seroichi gonna run into two. Brain Sap comes out first. One right click and the Thunderclap. Easy kill. Weaver still trying to chase people down. Wrath of Nature comes out as well. Podka, he's gonna go down next. The Wisp Spirits will be enough. Nice double hoof stomp. Is it gonna be enough to get the kill on Io? Yes, it is with the help of the Crypt Swarm. But Ichira wants to keep on going. Ancient Apparition. Oh, never mind. Yeah, he died to the Io. Thought like maybe somebody else died, but they get the tier 1 as well at the same time.
Yeah, losing Io is definitely not great for Power Rangers, but they still come out ahead in that trade. And we're about to see the Lincoln Sphere picked up at 15 minutes coming out from Ditchira. An insane amount of farm after going for the Midas, and it's only going to get worse from here. Weaver, it looks like he's not going to go for boots this game, and as far as heroes that don't go for boots, it's one of the better ones, but not when you get blink jumped by the Slark. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast comes through. He's getting off the time-lapse immediately as he gets hit by that, so he'll survive.
Oh god. This Weaver, like I said, if he, now the Lincoln Sphere is finished, so he should be near immune, like you mentioned. There are some things maybe he can go down to. I mean, just Hoof Stomp Double H, maybe it's gonna be enough. But Kefka, nowhere near a Blink Dagger, and it's 15 plus minutes. I don't remember the exact stats, but if you get it like 15, oh, never mind, they're going to J4, the Fiend's Grip is there, nothing to stop it at the start. He's still alive with the Brain Zap. Ditchara comes in with Soneko's relocate. Kefka just going for the straight TP out. Soneko is gonna lose his life. So it's a 3-for-1 at the moment. Ultimate prop from Seroichi. Ditchara doesn't have his time lapse for another 7 seconds. Can Chalupi bring him down? They need to chase Dark Pact. They actually get the kill, triple kill for the Slark. Well, that's a pretty good way to turn around the game.
Yeah, it is. Killing off the Wisp, making sure that Weaver doesn't have that timeline to get back to another lane, and then time-lapse was also cooling down, so Weaver didn't have that available, and a Weaver with just Lincoln Sphere really doesn't do all that much damage, especially with only 1 point into the Swarm. So it's going to be Slark to get a lot of money out of that last exchange. With Blink Dagger Drums and now 2,000 gold on top of it, Jalopy is going to be one of the pace creators inside this, or pacemakers, excuse me, space creators, pacemakers, inside this game for the rest of his team. And even though they don't have a blink on the Centaur, he has level 8 as well as a Stampede, so there's still hope that Centaur is able to have an impact.
Well, at the moment, Maelstrom is finished up on Cheshire Cat, so the pushing will be a little bit faster for him if he even wants to keep on split pushing, which I guess Nature Prophets always do. But like I mentioned, Slark, he's going to just be the key hero for Aftershock at the moment in this mid game to try to survive this, maybe get that Blink Dagger onto the Centaur. He did survive the last fight, just TP'd out from there. So that's a positive. Chargel though, with a Primal Split, He's on the hunt again. Him solo is gonna be hard to get the kill. 4 seconds for the Fiend's Crypto for J4. Last time around, the attempt of going for the Fiend's Crypt was definitely good. I mean, didn't even get punished all that hard. But Ice Blast is flying. Yule Scepter is there first. Ice Blast connects. Pounce to follow. Just perfect setup.
Yeah, and they're able to find these pickoffs pretty reliably. After that one botched fight by Power Rangers, they've given Aftershock a new lease onto life, even though they don't have the greatest amount of farm and levels. It's still enough to find those setups as long as Slark's there with the Blink Pounce. And now with the Yasha, presumably going to S and Y, this is one of the scarier mid-game builds you can go for, and potentially going to jump into Ditchy but this time that shouldn't work out. Weaver currently sitting onto a belt of strength. I assume this is just going to be built into power treads later on the line, but honestly, I have no idea. If you want to go for power treads, usually pick up the boots.
I really don't know either. Basher Weaver, Necrobook, Sanj, I don't know, SNY for himself as well. Although, if you go for SNY or Yasha at all on Weaver without boots, that is just ridiculous because boots would give you more movement speed than the Yasha does without boots. But I don't know, must be power treads, I think. I hope.
I mean, I'm always one for some unconventional builds, and Basher Weaver might be something, especially since your Gemini attack can proc. If you do get the Gemini attack, it's a 20% chance that you get a bash, so that's actually not too bad.
Maybe we're gonna see it then. I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be absolutely horrible on a hero such as Weaver, but
I mean, it would give them much needed lockdown. I still think it's a bad choice, or not an ideal choice is a better way to put it, but new meta? I don't know. I'd love to see it work out, but I think it's just going to be power treads into some bigger damage item.
I would hope so. I don't know. Oh god, why would you start with Belt of Strength? Well, he's at the side shop, so he can finish them up if he wants to. Just purchase them immediately. If not, if he's saving for more, oh god, I don't know. We're gonna have to just wait and see. Mid lane though, Chelopi, they're eyeing him. They need to get the Fiend Script before the Dark Pact. They're not even gonna attempt it.
Okay, so there you go. Just power treads for the Weaver. So heart attack averted. We are going to have just the standard Weaver build coming out.
Boo! Lame! Go home! Boo, Weaver, boo!
I was hoping for it. He's gonna go strong into mind control. One Gemini attack is Shikuchi. It's gonna chunk Death Prophet down to about 75% of her HP, and then Ditchy just continues farming. Weaver as a carry doesn't get insanely hard to deal with until you get that next big damage item, and this game I think Monkey King Bar would be pretty solid, as eventually Slark will want to get a butterfly, but if he just wants to go for a Daedalus, that's also pretty sick. If you're able to get the double crit with the Gemini attack, that could completely chunk down a support.
I mean, Weaver all in all is just such a scary hero with almost any damaging item. At the moment, J4 might be in trouble. Cheshire Cat. Oh, they already killed Venomancer mid lane, but Chelopi chasing down J4, gets the pounce as well. Don't think he's gonna have enough. Defensive Nightmare, oh, just barely saved him for a little while, and yet they still get the kill. Cheshire Cat coming in as well. There's the Sprout, Chelopi just pounces out of it. Kefka, he's around, but he still doesn't have his blink there. Shadow Dance, blink away. I think they pinged out Kefka, or somebody pinged there, but he just TP's out.
Yeah, that Venomancer just died so quickly. As soon as he saw the little relocate thing over here, he starts his TP. And that wasn't fast enough. He died in 0.75 seconds, or less than 0.75 seconds. Up on top, Saniko's probably going to pay the piper for coming back up after that relocate, as he's going to be brought down by mind control as well as by the Ancient Apparition, and they'll be able to find a nice little pickoff for themselves.
So 12 to 12, the overall kill score. Definitely good for Aftershock, considering how it started, how well it was for Power Rangers. It was 2 and 7 at some point, maybe even a little bit more. But they're holding on, although this push is coming in pretty strong. Weaver, unfortunately, no Desolator yet. But with the Treant army, the tower still most likely will fall. Kefka is gonna have his Blink Dagger now, but there's the Blink Pounce, just immediate Sukuchi, and he's safe, no detection.
Yeah, Ditchy Tower is also going to survive. It is outside of deny range, and it's going to maintain its HP, so that's not going to be taken away from Power Rangers. Mind Control for a second forgot how to build Bloodstone. He bought the Perseverance, like, as the old build, and then sold it to buy the Soul Booster. Yeah, so Mind Control is going to be going for that build. I'm not a huge fan of it this game, but what else would he be building? It's going to give us a nice HP and be able to spam out those Crypt Swarms. It's definitely not the worst. Centaur finally is sitting on his Blink Dagger. It's 22 minutes in, and he does have that finish. So now Centaur is able to get those Blink Stomp initiations, and although it's not the scariest at this point in the game, since there is a decent amount of farm on all of PR's heroes, it's at least something, and now Aftershock aren't working with a Centaur that's a liability. He can actually contribute.
And actually even the IO has quite a lot of HP. The Magic Wand, the Urn, as well as the Sange now. So he's going for the Heaven's Halberd, which is going to be a decent enough item against the Slark. Unless he wants to go for an SNY as well, which I highly doubt, but SNY is finished on the Slark now. So he is pretty scary, to be honest, if he just has the time to right click people and pounce them up. And J4 all in all as a Bane, I haven't seen Bane do a hell of a lot this game, to be honest. Although then again, we haven't really seen almost any hero do a hell of a lot just because not much is happening.
Yeah, even though it's 12 till 12, most of these are like small skirmishes. Both teams feel to be playing fairly passively. The only towers to fall down are those tier 1 towers. There's still one standing down in bottom lane, but with the smoke coming out from the Bane, as well as the Brewmaster, they might be able to collapse onto this Slark and Centaur. Jalape's already at pretty low HP. They don't have the cleanest way of initiating, but they're going to just walk by him. It's nighttime, the smoke's going to dissipate onto J4, but it was about to time out anyway. Now Bane's the one to get stomped. Now with the double edge, they're looking for the Blink Pounce. They'll find it. Silence on the Shash, he can't get off his ultimate immediately. Bring in Weaver as well as the Wisp, but Brewmaster's still on the sideline, silenced up. We'll be able to get off his split now, and he does. But Nature's Prophet with the Mjolnir onto him. He's thinking about TPing away from this, but they're trying to catch anything they can with the split. The Ancient Apparition is brought down by the Weaver on the sidelines of the fight, as now they pursue down this Death Prophet. The Slark's flying up in the air. It's going to be dropped down, blinks away, but the Death Prophet not so lucky. Pursued by Ditchyra, but Ditchyra can't get that kill solo, especially without it spending too much mana and health. Now Ditchyra is back with the rest of his team, and everybody's going to survive except for that AA and Bane.
The AA went for a really just kind of panic Ice Blast. I think he missed absolutely everything there. So a little bit unfortunate, but he was the only one to lose his life on Aftershock as well, so not that bad in the end. Bloodstone is going to be finished now as well, and Death Prophet just needs to purchase that Ring of Regen to finish up the Soul Ring. And that's exactly what he does. Has to, yeah, the courier coming out now. So Bloodstone going to be finished. It's just a matter of, is he going to be able to start stacking up the charges, or is he just going to lose them immediately?
Yeah, and if he loses them, it's effectively like he has a soul booster, which is a decent stat efficient or money efficient item, but that's not what you spend 5,000 gold for. Weaver currently opening up a bank. He has 4,000 inside his stash, and I'd expect him to buy a big damage item, hopefully one that involves a Demon Edge at some point. If Weaver goes for another defensive item like a BKB, I'm really going to hate Ditchyra's choice, because as Weaver, even though he's able to put out a decent amount of damage with just the Gemini attack, he doesn't really shine until he gets some raw damage, and, well, there we go. It's a Crystalith now for Ditchyra.
Yeah, it's definitely better, and oh, there's the Scepter onto Cheshire, finding him in his own jungle. Hoof Stomp to follow, double H as well. They get the kill, trying to TP back now, already lost the tier 2 to Ditchyra. And, well, the Lincolns, it's nice mana regeneration and health as well. Although survivability wise, BKB would have been a lot better to start with. And to be honest, if this game goes a little bit later still, Venomancer is level 11, has the level 2 Poison Nova. At some point, Weaver might even have to invest towards the BKB anyway.
Yeah, I don't think that time's now. Up top, it's going to be Ditchyra fighting up against Jalopy. The man fight is favoring the Weaver, and even if Slark has his ultimate, he can't really do much. Timelapse is going to get all of that damage off of Ditchyra. TP attempt from Zeroji. He'll be able to stick that landing unless they crit. They crit with one of the attacks off of the Gem Knight, but not both of them, so he'll be able to make it back safely to base.
That was so damn close, and well, 800 HP, that's what you get. Now has a Yule Scepter as well. So if it's actually inside the fight, he should almost guaranteed be able to get off the Poison Nova if nothing else. Just somebody jumps in, activate Poison Nova. Now there's the Fiend Script onto Kefka. Do we have something more coming out? Cheshire Cat is flying in. Ice Blast squarely onto the Bane, gets the Brain Sap. Jalopy comes in with the Pounce. Kefka survives, but there's the Relocate. They get the kill. Cheshire Cat gonna get thrown up in the air as well. Mind Control. Doesn't pop his Exorcism just because he's on the run. He doesn't want to lose the Bloodstone charges, although he will. Just sprout it up as well. He denies himself. Commits suicide. Down to 6 Bloodstone charges. And that's 2 cores for a support.
Yeah, and it was almost even worse if Era Ancient Apparition died as well, and if Death Prophet didn't get the suicide. It's pretty much just the Centaur for Bane trade, which is fairly even, but they also get a Tower Destruction up top, so scratch all of that. It's actually still just a really favorable trade for Power Rangers, and now that's your completed Daedalus on the Weaver. If he gets another Daedalus, the damage could just be straight up absurd. Yeah, I love to see double Daedalus on Weaver now. I think it's just one of the more effective ways to build him, but even if he goes for like a Monkey King bar or something along that sorts, I don't think it actually matters. Weaver is completely stacked.
He's definitely outputting way more damage than the Slark ever can. Slark at least has a basher, so once he gets that Abyssal might be that one crucial item they need to kill off the enemy Weaver. They're gonna jump in with the pounce. He has the time lapse, but he gets silence of Hoofstomp, misses a little bit, but doesn't matter in the end. So they actually blow up the Weaver rather fast, and well, at least he got his Daedalus finished, but this might be an opening for Roshan. It's gonna respawn in about like 10 seconds, a little bit less even. They're gonna go in, see it, not up. Oh god, no. Go check it again, guys. Go check it again. I swear it's gonna be up soon enough.
And it will be. They would have been able to take it too if they just spotted out. They have an Icy Vortex, and that should be a long enough duration in order to keep eyes on this Roshan. 16 seconds on the duration for the Icy Vortex, and there you go. If nothing else, the Plague Word's going to spot it out, but currently, Nature's Prophet ult is going to bounce through, drops their HP low, but yeah, there's your Roshan. They'll have to commit Exorcism for this, but I definitely think it's worth it, but yeah, we'll just have to see if they actually want to fully commit. With the double damage rune, I think this is a pretty straightforward choice by them.
Well, I think with the double damage, they might have even gotten it without Exorcism, although you would have had to be there quite a long time, and that would have just given Power Rangers the attempt or the opportunity to come back and maybe snatch it from you. But Exorcism, they just cannot fight, they cannot push without this, although I guess we haven't had like any proper 5-on-5 fights anyway, so might not be that big of an issue in the end.
Yeah. Even with this Aegis, as you kind of already alluded to, it isn't going to be a straight-up win in the next team fight, but it's definitely a boon for them. The Power Rangers didn't really need to give away. Weaver getting picked off is really significant at this point in the game, since he is sitting on so much of their net worth. After him, the Nature's Prophet, saving up for his Scythe, but with no Blink Dagger on the Nature's Prophet, this isn't the scariest of items. I think Cheshire Cat might even be warranted in backing off for a Blink Dagger after picking up the Scythe device, just to have that instant initiation onto the likes of the Slark, because if you give him any time to react to that Scythe with the Dark Pact, you might not be able to get the kill, but with that instant jump, maybe you'll be able to catch him off guard.
Jalopy, he was in vision and he knows as well because Wrath of Nature bounced on him, plus of course Shadow Dance wasn't active, so they should be aware now of this high ground ward coming out. But Ancient Apparition, he has a level 2 Ice Blast, about 1.2k away from the Aghanim Scepter, and once he gets that, just Power Rangers high ground push is gonna be pretty damn hard, to be honest, although they have the Nature's Prophet as well as the Weaver. So if they get to the buildings, they should go down fast enough. But the Ice Blast and just the Centaur Blink initiation, Power Rangers, they're gonna find it a little bit hard. Maybe they even try to wait for the next Roshan, get the Aegis for themselves and then try to break high ground. Or just get a single pick off, or maybe just try to catch Aftershock off guard as Aftershock are pushing themselves. Maybe take advantage of that timing, but Power Rangers, they're not as far ahead as I would have expected 30 minutes in by the way this game started.
Yeah, and wait, what?
What?
Oh, okay, that makes complete sense. I misunderstood you. Okay, so back into this game we go. Tier 2 tower in mid is going to be pressured a little bit by the Weaver. The Tier 1 tower top is taken by Aftershock, and we do have that Scythe of Ice completed by Cheshire Cat. Yeah, I completely spaced out there for a second, but I'm back to earth. Yeah, Ditchera is going to be saving up towards his next item, and even though there's an Aegis on Aftershock, they probably won't be able to take much more than what they've already grabbed out of the map with it, so I don't expect them to be able to push aggressively, even though it isn't a very large lead towards Power Rangers. That 5,000 gold advantage and 2,000 experience advantage, it feels a little bit more impactful than what Aftershock have, mostly because Death Prophet's Bloodstone is kind of a mediocre choice. Slark, his item build is also starting to fall off. He went for Drums and Sanjin Yasha, which 10 minutes ago is one of the more efficient builds that you can pick up, but after the fact, he'd really like to have something like a BKB to stay in the middle of the fights, Monkey King Bar for some extra damage, or a completed Abyssal Blade. Right now, we're still kind of waiting until Slark can farm up that item, and if he wants to pick up the Abyssal, he will have it, although without buyback.
It's a tough call, to be honest, between the Abyssal Blade and the Monkey King Bar at this point, just because up against the Brewmaster, Monkey King Bar is one of the best items if you're a right-click core. So maybe he's saving for that. Blinks over the river, might find J4. Too bad Blink is already on cooldown just because he just used it. Bottom lane, Pot Guy is going to be in so much trouble. Cheshire Cat, never mind, he's not going to go in too deep as well. Teacher Owl, he's not afraid. He's going to get the last right click, gets the kill as well. Crits on it. And was that a gem on the ground? Never mind, no gem at least given away, but supports, they cannot stand up to the Weaver. I mean, even for the cores, they take so much damage if they actually get next to him.
Well, if you look at the damage, he's critting for 500 or so. Whenever he gets those attacks off, and if you get like one crit inside the Gemini attack, that's already like half damage onto even one of the tankier cores like the Centaur. And if he double crits, you're pretty much all the way chunked down. Bane going to be jumped by Jalopy, takes off the Nightmare with that Dark Pack, and then we'll be able to right-click him down. Forced to use his ultimate to disengage, but it's another pick-off, this time going the way of the Slark. He's spotted out by a handful of wards, but with an invis room picked up by Jalopy, he should be completely fine, even though he's walking past the Weaver. Weaver should know that he damaged Jalopy, but that's about it. Jalopy's going to be just fine.
He has about like 50 seconds left on the Aegis, so he definitely wants to make good use of this. Ice Blast already used though, so he cannot follow up at this point in time. And I think Monkey King Bar would be even better because Soneko has the Heaven's Halberd as well now. You can still disarm Slark though, so that might be a small issue, but at least the evasion won't do anything.
Yeah, and even with an Abyssal, it's not guaranteed initiation onto the Weaver, because he does have that that Lincoln Sphere, which up until now didn't block much. The Yule Scepter as well as the Abyssal Blade being taken off of the table for the Weaver is going to be really useful for him at this point in the game, when they do have items to bolster their lockdown. Jalopy's going to look for a pounce, doesn't connect on a Ditchy-Ra, and Ditchy-Ra, I think he's going to be able to make his way out of here alive, avoiding the juke spots. He's going to be silenced up, but that silence is not going to be long enough in order for them to pursue him, and Ditchy-Ra is going to survive with hardly a scratch on him.
So Roshan is going to respawn in about 4 minutes time, as the timer just notified us. I think it's good for Aftershock that it was a reasonably long respawn timer, although I guess it's like just halfway through, more or less. But I think Power Rangers, they're not going to give up another Aegis like that, unless they really have Weaver die again at the exact same situation almost. So Power Rangers with the Aegis on the Weaver, plus maybe another damaging item coming after that as well, up to 3.8k gold. He's a legitimate threat, although Slark with 5.3k gold in the bank, plus another damaging item coming out. It's not like he tickles Power Rangers heroes, but God, I just can't believe how freaking passive this game is, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, we are looking at like a kill a minute, but it doesn't feel like it at all. Especially, yeah, just these kills being so clumped up and isolated throughout each other, and it's not the plan for this game. There's no aggressive pushing from either side. And it looks like Jalopy is going to make a purchase. For the longest time, it is going to be a Demon Edge working towards that Monkey King bar. Again, he has enough money to complete it, but would be without buyback. It might be worth it inside the team fight, but for now, there's no pressure on Jalopy to purchase that item. Although, that might come around the time that we have that Roshan, but with Weaver now going towards the Butterfly with an Eagle Song, it's going to get even more value, and this is going to make Ditchy-Ra potentially regret his decision to go for the Butterfly.
It most likely will. They hadn't seen the Demon Age before as well. They just saw the Basher, so they most likely automatically assume that it's going to be Abyssal Blade first, and then maybe Monkey King Bar, so we still have plenty of time to get value out of this. Not the case, so Monkey King Bar, nice item choice for Jalopy, getting even more value like you mentioned. And well, he just needs to get enough to have buyback. And I just checked the kill KDAs as well. Pretty much half of Aftershock's kills have just been Bane. So that's why we feel like there's no action, just because it's like one hero dying and nothing else. Of course, yeah. Power Rangers, they don't want to throw the game, so I understand their passivity kind of. But that's a Hex finished on Death Prophet now, and then Aghanim's on the Ice Blast. On the Ice Blast, yes, of course. On the Ancient Apparition.
These are really big leaps in power for Aftershock, and Power Rangers don't have anything that large to pick up. Weaver's going to be sending himself out to completed Butterfly, but as we've already seen, Slark's going to have that Monkey King bar very shortly and could purchase it up now. So the Butterfly is not going to be as impactful as Ditchy-Ra would like to. It's still going to be a nice item. I mean, when you're talking about the impact of Butterfly, it's still a decent amount of damage, but getting a Monkey King bar of his own probably would have been more impactful. And the other items for all the other heroes also are kind of in the similar boat where they're not super great. BKB on Nature's Prophet is going to mean that he's also a pretty potent right-clicking threat, but the Scythe device for Death Prophet is entirely necessary for Aftershock. This way, they can have a way to jump onto the Weaver, pop the Lincoln Sphere through Yules, and then scythe him down, and then hope for some bashes coming out from the Slark. And with the attack speed that he's able to put out, even without any stacks of Essence Shift being so significant as it is going to mean that Weaver is going to have a hard time surviving in these teamfights if he's the one jumped and not one of his allies.
They're of course going to have to deal with the IO at the same time as well, if they don't want the Weaver to just get relocated back to safety. And IO, he should be pretty safe himself. Has a Ghost Scepter and a Heaven's Halberd. So don't really expect him to get bursted up. Unless, of course, he's the first target for them. And there is a smoke into, well, not the counter smoke, but into 4 heroes. Cat, he's missing at the moment. No, no! Aftershock, wrong way, guys. You're going the wrong way.
Ships passing the night as Aftershock don't find anything. They expect somebody to be farming their jungle, but everybody is clumped up over and top about this area. Oh, my goodness, that drawing on my map was completely messed up. Either way.
It's fine for me. For some reason, the drawings are only just messed up for yourself. Just, it draws like 1,000 million lines, something.
It did, like it was like a whole white splotch on my screen. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine for the others, but yeah, I learned through trial and error as well with other casters at some time. Long pauses, let's just teach you stuff.
Very well.
But there are 2 BKBs on Power Rangers, one on the Brewmaster, still on 10 seconds of course, same for Cheshire Cat as well, 10-second BKB with his own Hex finished for quite some time. I think he's used the Hex once, if even that.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, it's not the easiest of items to pull off when you're dealing with a Slark that can Dark Pact and pounce away, get off his ultimate in time. I'd really like to see Cheshire Cat get that blink, but I think at this point it's probably asking a little too much. He might want some harder hitting items later on. First and foremost, saving for buyback. Well,
another smoke from Aftershock comes out. Seroji not even going to be a part of it with the gem, which is a little bit awkward, plus Venomancer. Does offer quite a lot, but they're going to find Tichara, who just Sukuchis away before the silence. Stampede used as well, they're not going to find anything. Cheshire Cat tried to TP in. There is the swarm coming out, Chelopi. Is he going to go on anybody? There's the Nightmare on Chelopi. Fiend Script to follow as well. Oh, they need to stop G4. 4 steps used. The Fiend Script ends. Ice Blast will connect on to pretty much nobody, only a BKB target. Cheshire Cat going to get bashed up, taken out by Chelopi, but Shadow Dance already on cooldown. He needs to be killing the heroes, but he's not doing enough. But there's a beautiful hoof stomp. Catches free. They get the kill onto the IO. Tichara gonna chase down Kefka. There's the Venom scale finally onto J4. Nightmare gonna be enough for now, but there's the Dark Pact. J4 still alive. Does die in the end, just to the poison damage of Seroji. So is it really a 2-4-3 in the end? And Tichara wants to go for more. Chelopi gonna come in from the back lines, pounce up. They need some vision, but it's just time lapses away. And Chelopi, with a few pounces and the blink, I think he's gonna be able to escape.
Yeah, he's going to be just fine. But that Weaver was pretty much unanswered in the fights, which is great for Power Rangers. But the Slark was also without answer coming out from Aftershock. And now with the Pounce 4 trying to pursue Ditcherod, that's a really dangerous go. But they are going to try for it as best they can. Jumping for the Brewmaster, gets clap split. Trying to focus down Ditcherod. Doesn't get the time lapse off. It was on cooldown, but the Brewmaster is able to clean up the Venomancer on the backline. Still throws Jalopy up in the air to pursue down Kefka. Kefka 4-step over the cliff. He will be able to blink away soon enough, and he's going to be just fine. Gem on the deck, not claimed by any heroes. And now Brewmaster is going to be in a bit of a pickle. We have the IO bringing back in some extra heroes. On the backlines, he actually doesn't tether anybody. He's trying to bail out the Brewmaster, but ends up giving up his own life as he gets scythed down and will be bursted. Now with the double man hoof stomp again from the Centaur, Aftershock are going to lose even more, but Jalopy's critted down by Shashflow. No mind control caught inside the tree, and that Centaur hoof stomp ends up being terrible for them as it gets them all clumped up for PR to jump on them.
That fight went on for way too long, and Power Rangers able to capitalize on it by the end. I mean, the Weaver did die, but just fly back into the game. That's gonna be Roshan, not only with Aegis, also with Cheese. And Weaver with the Aegis now is going to be maybe a tad too strong for just A-Shock to handle. Of course, the Slark himself has another 4k gold, so can go for straight off Abyssal.
I just heard a BKB. Who was that on?
Yeah, Cheshire Cat TP'd out from mid lane.
Okay.
I just caught the tail end of that as well, but well, when the BKB is on and the Slark isn't there, nor is there an Exorcism, they just don't have nearly enough physical.
Okay, so that makes sense. I was very perplexed there for a second, but now the Tier 2 tower in mid is going to be taken by Power Rangers with no contention coming out from Aftershock. They can't do anything, but up in top, they might be able to find Cheshire Cat. He already used his BKB, so now with the Hoof Stomp, Double Edge, they're going to be able to shatter him down as the Intrap version gets the kill. Now up to top, Ichiro's going to join the fray. Shikuchi's up towards here, gets the bugs on the Kefka. Will cancel his Blink Dagger, but that's about all it's going to do. An Icy Vortex placed by the Ancient Apparition is going to slow down Shachula, but now he's in a little bit of trouble. Only going to get hit by one of those attacks, and it didn't crit either, so Ancient Apparition is going to be just fine, but still one auto attack chunking down your Ancient Apparition to a quarter. If he got the double crit, that could have been an easy kill.
I feel so bad for the Death Prophet because he really hasn't had any impact at all in this game almost. And most of all, that Bloodstone down to 3 charges, not doing anything. If he had just gone for like Shiva's card or Heart of Tarask, maybe would have been a little bit better. But of course, in hindsight, it's easy to say, at least for us. If he had been able to start stacking up the charges, it would be like, oh man, awesome item, or up to 20 charges, immediate respawns and whatnot. But 3 charges is just poor.
Yeah, it's effectively right now a soul booster, and we kind of already talked about it quite a bit. That Bloodstone's not going to accomplish much. Double damage on the Weaver, I was kind of hoping one of these supports would go completely out of position just so we could see how fast they drop, but yeah, they can't do anything when Ditchra has this much damage. He's going to be able to push down the bottom lane, and still, it could be any team to take the advantage. The advantage is pretty much stagnated. It's 7,500 in the favor of Power Rangers, and it stayed that for the greater portion of the last, like, 20-30 minutes or so, and experienced a pretty similar story to about 3,000. Both team has been fighting blow for blow, and we'll just have to see who's going to get the better initiation edge. Right now, I think it's Aftershock to have that.
Well, to be honest, it's not even a fighting blow for blow, it's just farming. Both teams are farming. There was one fight, which was pretty long as well, around the Roche pit. Power Rangers coming out ahead in the end. But he's not invincible by any means. He still has the Aegis for another 2.5 minutes though. So it might be enough for Power Rangers to just go and pressure the high ground. They also have a cheese still, I believe. Yeah, it's on the Brewmaster. If you get Ice Blasted though by an Aghanims, might not matter. At least you have it just potentially to save you.
Yeah, Ditchra is going to continuously push down the bottom lane. He is almost capped out when it comes to levels, but then again, so is the Slark. Level 23 for Slark and level 24 for the Weaver. Levels are going to start becoming irrelevant, except for the 2 lowest supports on either side. Level 60 on the ancient apparition, most importantly, is the biggest leap in power. Bane's level 16 doesn't really accomplish much, but it's still kind of nice to have.
Just extra survivability, we can go for stats. Blink, Thunderclap comes out onto Sharshal though. He has the cheese, but no chance to use it. He just dies. Relocate, couldn't even get him out in time. That was questionable, but it's distraction time. Relocate to the top lane instead with Ditchra, and Ice Blast is flying in. They're going to get Soneko. Oh, never mind. He's going to relocate back to the bottom lane at the right time. Ditchra was silenced up, but nothing to follow up. That relocate out, oh god. It literally would have taken like 1 extra second for him to die.
Yeah, that's awesome. The Gale's gonna take him down pretty low anyway, down to 139 HP, but a couple of earn charges will remedy him back up, and he'll find himself an illusion ring to refill his handy-dandy bottle. So the Wisp going to make a clean escape up towards top, and also force out some TPs with the Slark, as well as put some decent damage onto that tier 3 tower, but now with the Abyssal Blade onto the Slark, as well as some evasion for him, I think Jalopy is going to be the hardest hero to kill this game. Power Rangers don't really have a way to convincingly lock him down. Monkey King Bar is going to mean that Drunken Haze isn't going to do much of anything. They have a Boulder Toss and 1 Hex, as well as the Bane's Fiend's Grip. But if any one of those are chained away by the Dark Pact, it's going to be pretty much a free fight for Slark. And we kind of already saw that in the fight around the Roshan pit. Jalopy as well as Ditchra pretty much run free, but it's the Slark to do the more damage, as well as have those lucky dashes every once in a while.
Well, will the Slark be enough though, because Nature's Prophet, he hurts a reasonable amount as well, going for the Monkey King Bar of his own. So, or maybe Power Rangers, they can try to just fight before and have like 1 hero split push or something like that. So I'm not even too sure. But BKB is there for Weaver now finally. So he wants to play it completely safe. I mean, it's not like he's lacking for damage output all that much. So it's not going to be horrible for him to go BKB as long as he survives thanks to that. As top lane Chisergat gets the TP out, oh man. Got the right angle, so Jalopy couldn't find him for the Basher or Abyssal Blade. Bane picks up a Blink Dagger as well, not a bad choice. And they're gonna find Soneko instead. I thought like everybody escapes, but Soneko just hung around.
No, it's a Wisp. It's not the most impactful of pickoffs as long as they don't fight immediately afterwards. But now,
Ice Blast is flying in as well. Nightmare comes out. Ditchra activates the BKB, gonna go for Kefka, but that's BKB on cooldown, and that's fine for Aftershock. Although Exorcism also used.
Yeah, Ditchra, that's his first usage of BKB down the tubes, and that's really impactful for them. Now Aftershock have a pretty decent fighting advantage, and Jalopy's going to try to capitalize on that by Blink. Pounce forward, but doesn't connect with J4. So he's going to survive, and now Nature's Prophet, still pushing top, going to be used up into the air by the Venomancer, I believe, but that's going to be it. Nature's Prophet should be able to walk away safely. This Weaver, he's going for more survivability, which is fine, and this will mean that he's harder to bring down. Even if they pop the Lincoln Sphere quickly, if Ditchera is fast on his fingers, he'll be able to get that BKB off. TP attempt from Cheshire Cat's going to be cancelled by an Abyssal Blade, and they found the Nature's Prophet up top. He pops the BKB. That's not going to save you. It doesn't even matter. Slark just going to be able to chop him down.
This game is ridiculous, I have to say. But the Abyssal Blade guaranteed lockdown even through BKB. Of course not against the Weaver because he also has a Lincoln. So it's going to be really hard to just kill the Weaver at this point in time. Did they use the cheese from before? Never mind, they still have the cheese on the Brewmaster, so at least they haven't lost everything from that past Roshan. But looking at the farm now, still a 7,500 net worth lead. XP actually in Aftershock's favor in the first time in this game. Only 1,000, so makes a little difference. I mean, 7.5k net worth makes a little difference as well, to be honest. If only Venomancer had the Aghanim's though. Aghanim's Ice Blast plus Aghanim's Poison Nova level 3. It's going to be ridiculously strong. The BKBs won't even last long enough for you to just outlive them.
Yeah, Weavers might, since it is at 9 seconds, relocate. They're going towards top, hunting for the Venomancer. They might be able to find it before he TP's out, and he will. Ditchera still does a truckload of damage, and Venomancer's going to be at the receiving end of that.
G4 camping as well, bottom lane. The relocate comes back. It's going to be a huge fight. Primal Split is there. Io goes down first. Buyback on the Nature Prophet as well. Chelopi, he wants to go for something, but he's going to have to escape. He has the blink out, mind control, thrown up in the air. Can they catch up? Chelopi is completely out of mana, but J4 couldn't quite get close enough for. Never mind, he got the Fiend's Grip, must have been dark backed off immediately. Mind control. Yule sceptered up. Never mind, it's the Cyclone instead of the Yules. He has no means to escape this, and just immediate suicide.
Yeah, just making sure he could get that off. It is going to be a one fight for Power Rangers, even though it was fairly risky. It's going to be a buyback from the Venomancer, and Slark also getting back into this fight, although he's going to naturally get back into it. It is going to be a slight push down and bottom coming out from Power Rangers, but even 4 versus 3, they still can't feel incredibly comfortable taking it. Ditchera is not on very high amounts of HP at all, and even a time-lapse isn't going to help you much. Instead, they're going to set their sights onto Roshan, which is going to be pretty guaranteed for them to be able to take. They can do it very quickly with the damage that Weaver has.
Aftershock. Oh, they will get the jump. Stampede as well. J4 goes down. Well, with the Bane down, it's a little bit easier for Aftershock to contest. Although Weaver, he's doing it solo at the moment. No Desolator. Although, well, I guess he takes almost 0 damage just because he has the Butterfly. Sends out the Swarm just in case to scout things out. And there are 2 TP scrolls as well. We need more TP scrolls. It's a Hand of Midas now on the ground. And an Ultimate Orb for Charge Slow. Might be going for, I don't even know, a Hex of his own probably. And with Io coming in, it's going to be Roshan, another Aegis, another Cheese, and Jeshakat picks up the Aegis for himself. And Hex finished on Brewmaster, so more Hexes around. Aftershock, do they even have any BKBs? Nope, nobody.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what that Ultimate Orb is going to be for the Weaver, and it looks like he sold it. Okay. Yeah, it's not there anymore. Did he drop it somewhere?
I don't think so. I have no idea. I probably sold it. Maybe he wanted to go for Skadi then thought like, I have no idea. He can also go for a Hex to be honest if he really wants to. Wouldn't be like absolutely horrible for him.
Yeah, it really wouldn't be. Honestly, we kind of joked about it earlier with the Basher, but I think Abyssal Blade would be legit this game.
It definitely would, to be honest. Just anything to provide additional lockdown. Abyssal Blade definitely one of those spells. And also get the just bash for the normal right clicks. But Butterfly is finished on the Slark now, so gonna be a little bit harder to shut down the Slark. Although if the Bane just gets a Fiend's Grip, and that's a big if without the Dark Pact being there or anybody else stopping it. But looks like Power Rangers with the Aegis now, Cheshire Cat, he can just be in the front lines, bait a couple of things out and just get tier 3 finally, break high ground maybe.
Yeah. Since Slark has his Butterfly and a completed 6-slotted build, he could replace the Sanjin Yasha, but for all intents and purposes, Slark is about capped out. Ditchera also kind of wants to consider getting a Monkey King bar for himself, but that just doesn't seem to be in the cards for him. Ditchera just needs more, and usually with a Hand of Midas that's been ticking for this long, your impact is a little bit greater, but Weaver, he went for this Lincoln Sphere, he's gone for Power Treads, he went for a BKB, which are fine items, to be sure, but at this point, he's not controlling the game as much as he'd like to be.
Oh wow, so the graphs pretty much the same as always. It's so sick there. Okay, they've gone a little bit steeper, but ever since like 15 minutes into the game, it's been more or less the same, just a standoff, both teams farming at the exact same rate and everything, getting like one pick off each. But did I see an Aga names on somebody? I have no idea. I must have just completely hallucinated. In any
The
case,
one that I was waiting for was on the Venomancer, but since he bought back last time, that's not coming out.
I guess it must have been the ancient apparition, although I could have sworn I went through Power Rangers and that's Lincoln's popped with a 4-step of... You know, never mind. There's the blink, but he gets the BKB off before Chilopi comes in as well, but the Abyssal Blade already used on Brewmaster and it just accomplishes nothing. Shadow Dance, forced out defensive mind control, don't run in solo like that. Exorcism also not going to accomplish anything. Power Rangers, they can just back off. I think mind control, that exorcism usage was not the most optimal thing to do.
Yeah. Okay, so the plan here now for Power Rangers is to wait 15 seconds till Exorcism wears off, but to get the Hex onto Kefka, he jumps in and tries to get any kills that he can, but he's just going to be dropped too low. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast lands mostly onto the Brewmaster and the Io. The split from Brewmaster is going to keep him safe, as Io is still ticking down. There's a Fiend's Grip onto Mind Control, his ultimate's worn off, and now with Weaver and the Brewlings clicking into him, it is going to be too much damage. The Aegis is going to be proc on the Nature's Prophet as a jump in from the Centaur is going to do that one, and it actually doesn't matter as PR going to be able to take this first lane of Barracks, taking the ranged first. On the backlines, however, it's going to Bane to lose his life to the Slark, and now he wants to try his hand at killing off this Weaver, but Weaver has a cheese. Jump in for a nice hoof stomp is going to kill off Cheshire Cat for the first time, but now Jalopy hexed up by the Brewmaster. They're going to be able to kill off the Slark. He has buyback, forced to spend it. Melee Barracks being focused by Ditcher. It's going to eat the ultimate coming out from the Ancient Apparition, and now he's going to fall as he can't get anything off Cheese or time lapse, and now stunned onto Shacho. Shacho to fall. It's a 5-hero wipe and an ultra kill for Jalopy. My goodness, Aftershock, they still lose their barracks, however. They have a minute or so until they can take a barracks of their own. Wow, what a fight.
What a fight indeed. That Slark buyback just made a world of difference. Ice Blast, of course, connecting onto Weaver as well, so even time lapse or Cheese wouldn't have made him safe. That was a huge part there as well, and that's Heart of the Rask finished on Centaur. I mean, he doesn't have buyback anyway, just because it's on cooldown now, so might as well buy it up. 3.4k HP, if only he made it under the tier 4s. But everybody has buyback on Power Rangers apart from the Nature's Prophet. So Jalopy by himself, I mean, he can be strong in pushing, but even with the two of them, they have to be careful, because if they get caught now without buybacks on both the Centaur and Slark, Aftershock, they're just gonna immediately be done for.
Oops, my mic was muted for a second. Sorry about that as they jump in and blow up the Bane. Buyback from the Weaver already forced out as the tier 3 tower is going to be taken by Jalopy. Weaver is inbound trying to save his set of barracks. Buyback from the Bane as well. They're trying to force back Jalopy and Kefka. Let's see if it's going to work out for them. Dichira is going to avoid a hoof stomp and avoid the pack coming out. They aren't going to be able to stun anything. J4 lifts his arms for a Fiend's Grip, but gets silenced up. Now jumping by the Venomancer. He does get off a decent ultimate, but cleaned up by Cheshire Cat on the backlines. Focus down Jalopy to get a hex off onto the Slark. They're focused down the Slark. One more Gemini attack. It's not going to be enough. He survives with less than 100 HP, and now he's going to be able to heal up inside the ultimate. The rest of the fight's breaking out as Brewmaster gets his split off. The Nature's Prophet's already fallen as Detroit is silenced up on the top of this fight. If he gets dropped now, it could all be over. Now getting bashed down, he is going to die, and that's Weaver down for 2 minutes, and they can do nothing about it. Io and Brewmaster against the world for 50 seconds. They need to make the defense of their lives, and I think Aftershock, they could just go for tier 4s and throne after this barracks.
Oh my god, Slark! He survived with, maybe my eyes deceive me, 14 or 40 HP, but definitely less than 100 like you mentioned. And they are going straight for tier 4s. Kefka standing under them, the return already just speeding up the push. 5.5k in Jalopy, not that it matters with the buyback, but this is most likely GG Aftershock. They actually won this game now. Oh my... That RNG, if Slark had died, this would have been just 100% different. Weaver would still be alive. Aftershock probably would have gotten wiped, man. What an ending.
Yeah, if that second Gemini attack crit, that's the end of the game. The other favor. My goodness, Aftershock, after such a shaky start, especially that Centaur having one of the worst starts I've ever seen on an offlane, are able to come back in a game 1 victory. And this is only game 1, game number 2 coming up next.
Yes, indeed it is, guys. So we're gonna head straight into that. No big outro or anything. So just as always, if you liked us, be sure to follow us. But guys, see you in game number 2. After such a game 1, you don't want to miss it. So just a few songs in between, and hopefully only a couple of minutes time before it starts.